Hello, teammates. Welcome to another episode of the Coach's Huddle. I'm your host, Coach Hudson. And tonight, the huddle gets financial, and we're talking about money with Jamaury Norris, a financial empowerment coach who's going to give us some secrets on how to get in the stock market. Going to teach you how to build credit for youth, and it's going to tell you at whatever stage of life you're in, how you can win with your money. So get your money, get your checkbooks, get your budgets ready, and let's get this money. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Coach's Huddle. And tonight we are talking about the almighty dollar. As we end 2020 and go into 2021, I said, you know what? My teammates need to get their money right. And I love money. I mean, I absolutely love it. Being broke is something I just cannot do. And I scour all over the internet. I've listened to Dave Ramsey. I've listened to a lot of the financial people, but I got y'all somebody that I think y'all gonna like. Mr. Jamaury Norris. Yeah, Coach too. So, Absolutely. Coach, how you doing this evening, sir?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, man. It's a pleasure to be on your show, man. And I'm just glad to be here to drop some nuggets and hopefully help some people out, man.
Well, first off, anytime you're talking about money and you can help people either gain, keep, invest, or learn about their money, we already starting off in a good foot. But before we start getting into that, how did you get into money? Because how did Jamaury become Jamaury, basically?
Man, so, I was raised by a single parent, no father in the household, grew up poor in Section 8 house. And of course, you didn't know you were poor while you were growing up. You didn't realize that till after the fact. I'm like, okay, I look back, I was, government cheese, projects. Okay, I was poor. Didn't realize that I left Michigan to come down to Jackson, Mississippi to attend Jackson State University, the I love. Once I got down to Jackson, and I realized how like the city was broken up into like your suburban areas and what have you. I realized that there was a difference between, the haves and the have-nots, if you will. So I was trying to figure out now why is, the gas stations look like that here, but then in the suburbs, the gas stations made of brick and all they facilities look like this and the school systems are looking different. And I realized that the difference was the information, and the information is financial literacy. So I made it my goal to find out everything I could about financial literacy, financial empowerment, because I knew that was going to be the difference maker between me living check to check and building generational wealth.
Generational wealth is something that I don't think a lot of people think of. They think of, I want me to have money and my kid. Generational wealth, we talking about your kid, and the kid after that, and the one after that, to what we're talking about them Rockefeller type legacies, man.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to be rich. The majority of people, I don't know many people who say, I can't wait to be poor. I just cannot wait. Everybody wants money, but I find that a lot of people have money, but they mismanage money because they think they don't make enough. What advice would you give somebody who doesn't know how to manage money or think they don't make enough money?
Okay. Well, the first thing I say is it's not about what you make. It's about what you keep. And I tell people that you can't multiply yourself, but you can multiply your money. I think a lot of times we fall into the trap, especially us in the African-American community. When we get to the point that we're making more than our parents, we feel like we've arrived, so to speak. So we got the car, we got the house, we living good. You really just scratching the surface because, like I said, just because you can take care of you and your family, that ain't enough. Like I said, you got generations that's going to be coming after you. You have to think, be forward thinking to understand that, okay, my money can only take care of me, but what can I do to build this to the point where I can take care of 2, 3, 4 generations down the line? So, I tell people that it starts with just developing, it's not some pie in the sky hitting the lottery or anything like that, but it just starts with really having a plan. Like for the first thing is really just having a budget, having a plan. You gotta have a plan for your money. I mean, don't expect, I tell people, don't expect your money to be there when you look for it if you don't have a plan. You know how like people get to the end of the month and they're like, man, where all my money go? Like, if you ain't had no plan for it, like, because I tell people this, money will do exactly what you tell it to.
Thanks.
It would now if you don't tell it, if you don't give it directions, then money's just gonna flow and it's gonna go where it needs to go. But when you tell it to do what you needed to do, that's what it's going to do. So having that budget, man, is crucial. And most people think of a budget as something that is restrictive, like I can't do this, I can't do that, and it's such a negative connotation. And that's why only like 32% of U.S. families actually have a monthly budget. Everybody else just flying by the seat of their pants. So you got to have a plan for your money first and foremost, and to the point, because here's the deal: you have to stay in your financial lane. So wherever you are financially, that's what your budget is going to allow you to do. So you may not have a budget for, cars or furniture or jewelry, what have you. Now, once you get your money to that point, then you can have a budget for that because your budget allows for that. So it's not about things that you can't afford. It's just about staying in your lane until you get to that next level. Then your circle gets bigger. So now you can have a budget for things that are more of wants than needs.
Facts. I think a lot of things that people really have a problem with in America, and it really don't matter what race, color, or creed we run into, is we think budget is like the anti venom to this magic two words that people love. And those two words are instant gratification. We
Correct.
want what we want when we want, and people think their budget is the payment. Like people go buy a car and they'll say, "Oh, I can afford this car because the payment is this much." And I try to tell a lot of people all the time, these people can make the payment whatever you need it to be.
Correct.
Oh, notice if you go into a car dealership, the first question isn't, well, how much can you afford for the car? What payment can you afford? Because that's just the number of months they're going to slide to you. So with that budget that you mentioned, I think that's a great point because putting it on paper on purpose. My wife, stickler. I will not front. She is the budget queen. She has budget meetings on budget meetings with herself because like I can't do that many budgets. I'm working on it. I'm getting better, but she has like version 10 before we get to the 15th. But
Correct.
every dollar is accounted for. So how do you tell that person who says, "Oh, I don't want to do a budget because I feel so constricted"? How do you convince that person that this is the way to go?
The main thing, and a lot of times when I deal with people like that, it's because they don't want to face the truth.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? It's like they getting this money and they spending all of it, but they really in a situation that they really don't want to come to grips with. And putting that on paper makes you sober up and look at your financial situation and makes you have to make some changes. So it's like if you don't want to do that, then it's like, okay, whatever your goals are, if what you're doing doesn't take you or doesn't align to where you're trying to get to financially, then you have to change something. And the only way you're going to be able to change something is if you actually put it on paper and look at it and say, this is where I am. This is what I need to change. So you have to have that what we call come to Jesus moment and say, look, I can't be eating out every weekend, or I can't, I can't go on that trip, or I can't take that vacation, or I can't buy that new car right now. It's just a situation where you just have to be honest with yourself, and it's not, and here's the deal. I tell people it's not about you not being able to afford it, or is that you don't have it. You just don't have it for that. Like I tell people all the time, like, okay, you want to do this? Nah, I ain't got it. What you mean you ain't got it? No, I don't have it for that because this is what the plan is. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know what I'm saying. So if I don't want to go with y'all, hey, because I got a plan. Now, when my plan takes off, and then it's time to go to Dubai, and I ask you, and you say ain't got it, I'm like, okay, why you ain't got it?
What happened? What happened?
What happened? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be honest with yourself and put it on paper. You have to.
We have this new trend, and it's actually you see it a lot. I see a lot of young people doing it. Everybody wants to do stocks, but they do stocks. I call it the uneducated stockbroker. They watched Pursuit of Happiness 2 times and feel like, you know what? That's me. I'm about to do it. They feel like I'm gonna get me a Robinhood account and I'm gonna put $20 in there. Or better yet, some of them put a large amounts of money and they hit and they think, oh, I got it. But they don't take the time. And I noticed on your Instagram page, man, you post a lot about the power of stocks and investing. And most people think once they get this Robinhood, they hit a boom and they become a millionaire. But the educated man knows it doesn't go that way. And if it was that easy, everybody would do it.
Correct.
Can you explain what it takes to be successful in the stock market?
It takes patience. It takes patience because it's easy to follow along with the trends and, oh, this is going up, or I got a feeling. No, it's very systematic. It's not difficult, but it's systematic. It's almost boring, to be honest with you. But people don't like that. They want fast, sexy money, what have you. But when it comes to building, and I'm talking about, because there's so many different ways to make money in the stock market, but I specialize in long-term investing because I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to get it to the point where, like I said, if you didn't come from a millionaire family, then the millionaire family has to come through you. And
Ooh,
you
like
can do and you can do that through stock investing to the point where when your kids leave your house, they set. You see what I'm saying? So you need to be, and I say you got to be patient because you can't be chomping at the bit. I give you a case in point. I bought Amazon when it was $1,100. Now, at the time, Amazon was at an all-time high, but because I did my research and I realized the way that the trend was going, they were shutting down all these big box stores. Everything was trending online. Most people were buying online. So I said, you know what? This is going to go somewhere. I didn't even know that Amazon had hit $3,000 until people started talking about it on social media because I don't check my account. Because
mm,
when I purchase a stock, see all the research, it's just like with real estate. The money is made when you buy the property, not when you sell it. Same thing with the company. The money is made when you buy the company. You do your research up front. So when you buy it, you don't have to worry about it. It's like if somebody trying to lose weight. You don't try to lose weight and then get on scale every single day. You're going to make yourself mad. You see what I'm saying? Because
Columbia.
it's just going to go up and down. You're going to be up and down, up and down. Same thing. You do your research. You know exactly what you're getting into. You buy it and you leave it alone. I found out Amazon was at $3,000. I was like, look, y'all late to the party. You know what I'm saying? Y'all late to the party.
So
Uh,
with that, real quick, so like you said, you got into Amazon early when it was at that point, and but because you did your research. Now, I've been told, I've heard before, if you're buying stocks, you have to buy a certain number of shares to be productive. Can a person just buy one share and say, okay, let me put one share and sit down somewhere? Like, what would you advise in that situation?
Absolutely. You don't have to have, and that's another misconception that you got to have a boatload of money to invest in stocks. That is not true. You can invest in stocks with $100. Like I said, you can buy one share, you can buy 5 shares at a time, whatever, just depending on your financial situation and the price of that particular company that you're looking at. So, and it takes time. It's a process. And when I say long-term investing, I say 3 to 5 years minimum that we hold in this. So in the process of you purchasing stock, whether you only got $100 a month to invest in, make sure that you're consistent and you putting that $100 in every month and you're building and you're building and you're building because compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And believe me, over time, you will find yourself in a nice situation financially if you just stay consistent with investing.
I think that's a very true statement. So, on my own personal side, so in the military they have a TSP, which is it's like a Roth. And
Hmm.
when Corona Lachey the virus, when she was out in the streets, just out here just beating up people, she hit me hard, man. I mean,
Yes.
she hit me hard. And look, so I'm gonna give y'all like a Hudrico's. This is exclusive.
All right.
So I believe you should have friends that do better than you at times because you always want to have somebody that pushes forward. And I never even told my friend this conversation because
Hmm.
I was on the phone with him and we was chatting, and he was like, we were talking about COVID and how it's affected the market. And I was ready to tell him, like, man, I don't lost about 45,000 in the market. I was, because to me, I'm like, 45, I took a hit. But
Correct.
before I got my 45 out, he's like, yeah, I lost about 7 figures. I was like, yeah, man, it's tough out here, man. So, so I was like, oh, whew, that Corona. You know, whew. But I saw
Oh
so
man.
many people during that time who, when they started losing money, the first thing they did was like, oh, sell everything. Let's back out. It's crashing. It's crashing. But like you said, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Slowly but surely, things have came back. It's turned around. And slowly, it's getting back to where that money that was lost has been returned. So you had this secret about Amazon. So I got to ask the question now. You don't became a Swami now. Can you share I mean, come on, give us some old super secrets now. I mean, can we get some investor illegal? We ain't listen. We
Yeah.
keep the thing above board.
Oh yeah,
And some
absolutely.
investment secrets that you think viewers can take an advantage of right now, or you think something that people should be paying attention to right now?
Man, I think the main thing that people should be paying attention right now is like tech stocks. So I'll give you one, for example. One is Square is one of my favorites. Square, if you're not familiar with Square, ticker symbol SQ, instead the payment processor swipe.
Mhm.
Square also owns Cash App. If you don't know that, when they came out with Cash App, and of course all the young kids, everybody got Cash App, so that really propelled them a great deal. And when Cash App first was launched, that's when I kind of got into Square. But it's because people are home and they're doing everything online, anything that forces people to be at home but still get utilized is a great stock to get into. So
Okay.
for instance, Zoom has taken off. I actually missed that one, but Zoom is a good one. Square, and another one that I like is AMD, Applied Micro Devices, which is actually a chip software, like for like video games and things of that nature. Now, I don't even play video games, but I know video game industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And kids playing Fortnite and all this stuff and sitting at home and we in quarantine. Great stock to get into. But and I also want to double back on something that you said as it relates to when the market falls and people, losing a good bit of their account. One thing you need to know about investing is that it's a mental game. And when you're a smart investor, you're never losing money. You never lose money until you sell. You've only decreased the value of your account at this time. That's all. You just down for a moment, but you haven't lost. And that's what happened during the housing bubble boom in 2008, 2009. People sold. And I understand, because if most of the people that were selling had like 401ks, Roths, and things of that nature, they weren't managing their own money. That's why I say that it's so important to manage your own money, because when you're not managing your own money, you don't feel like you have any control. So when the market drops, you like, okay, I don't know what's going on because I don't manage it. So therefore, let me pour this out before I lose everything. But just like everything that goes down, it comes back up. I could go outside and burn a whole forest. Give it a couple of years, you ain't got to do nothing. That forest is gonna grow right back up where it started. So the same thing with the stock market. You're never losing. You just temporary down at the point. And then when it's down though, that's when it's on sale. That's when it's on sale. Like, you ought to be screaming. Like when the COVID hit and it dropped deep in March, millionaires were made at that moment because they knew we finna scoop all of this up, because everything is on its 52, closer to its 52 week low. We finna scoop it up for the low, and we're gonna ride this thing back up. And now you see that the market has rebound easily, and it probably gonna be I'm hearing that it's gonna be another crash in 2021, and I'm waiting for it. I'm like, let's
Well,
go.
well, look, I'm gonna be on your page waiting for the post. So listen, as soon as listen, you look, I want you to say, Coach. I'm gonna be like, oh, wifey, buy that stock. That my guy told me. That mindset of just saying, yeah, I'm not down right now. I'm not. I haven't lost. Like you said, I am down, but I'm coming right back. This money is coming back, because one thing that I did know is I never changed the amount that I invested, because the amount that I invested, it bought me more stocks. It bought me more things to
Hmm.
actually bring me back even faster than anticipated. What's a good resource for people to go to? Because most people don't know it. It's almost like hieroglyphics. And the sad part
Hmm.
is the secrets of I'm a ninja. I'm an 80s baby. The secret of the ooze has been in the newspaper for years. All the magical numbers on the back has been telling you all these magical secrets, but we don't know how to read these things. What's a good resource for people to go to? Because a lot of people don't know where to get this information from. The secret of the ooze has been on the back of the newspaper, but all them NASDAQ numbers, and I got people can't read that. And YouTube University, while it's a great tool, there's a lot of great schemes on there too that people want to get rich quick. Where can a person go to get solid information on how to learn to be good at this?
All right. Well, as far as free information, I think Investopedia is probably one of the better sites just for like basic information without all the fluff. They have some pretty neat videos and things of that nature. And then, of course, you have Healthy Wealth 101.
Okay.
This is your financial empowerment, financial literacy guide, and on chapter 6, I cover the stock market and show you how to, research. And it's very basic layman terms, because I understand that even when I was coming up, and when I first got kind of hip to the stock market, I would see CNBC and see that stuff scrolling around the bottom of the screen with the numbers and the arrows, and it's like it looked like Japanese. So I understand how that could be very intimidating and discouraging for people to get into the stock market. And lastly, if you want to go from point A to point Z, the fastest, the best way to be is to hire a coach or a mentor. And I actually offer a stock course as well, where I do group coaching for people who want to invest in the stock market.
So first off, the book. Let's get back to the book.
Yes. Yes.
Let's bring that back up.
Yeah.
How can we get this book? Where can we order this book from?
You can go to JamauryNorris.com.
Okay.
JamauryNorris.com. Click on Healthy Wealth, and that resource is right there. It's only, with shipping, like $25, and it's like a workbook style. So it's not only information, but it's real easy to read. It's only like 70 pages. I'm giving you nothing but the meat. I ain't giving you no fluff, because initially I wrote it with the intention of helping young people. So I wanted to kind of be curriculum style based. So it has a kind of a workbook feel to it, but all the stuff you need, none of the stuff you don't. And it'll get you on a good start.
People say I'm frugal, cheap. They say whatever. But I'm gonna cop that. You know what?
Yeah.
You heard it here first. I'm gonna get that. And anybody who know me, y'all know Coach don't buy much, but I'm gonna cop that. So y'all
I understand.
too. That's good stuff. So now you said you also do financial mentorship and you do stock classes where you teach these things. So where can we get that from? How does that found?
Okay, you can still go to my website, or you can go directly to workwithjnow.com. That's workwithjaynow.com, and schedule a call with me, and we'll see, if it's a good fit for you.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out here giving y'all the goodness out here, man. Work with Coach Jay. You got the book. You got Coach. Man, listen, a lot of coaches out here, man. It's like the top-notch coaching staff. I'm trying to provide for y'all. I'm a young guy. I got $200 and I want to invest. How or what should I do to grow that? How would you grow that? Because you got some people, they just got a pocket full of money. They don't know what to do. And if they got 200, they should take 25 of it and buy the book. But okay, so you got 175 left. What should we be doing?
Yeah, so I think the first thing you need to do is open up a brokerage account. Open up a brokerage account and put that money in a good growth stock, and let your money multiply. Because the reason why I like the stock investment side more than anything else is because it's the only avenue where someone else comes up with a business plan. They start the business, they put all the money up, they do all the hiring, firing, training, and then build this company to a multi-billion dollar company. And then you come along and say, let me buy a piece of that. And then you ain't never got to work for that company. You just sit back and collect the benefits. You can't do that nowhere else. I mean, you can do real estate, which I'm a fan of. I have rental properties, but that's going to take a little bit of sweat equity. This is what you call very passive investing, where you put your money in there. Like I said, make sure you know exactly what you're doing. Do the research first. But once you get into good, sustainable growth companies, that's going to be the best bet. And the main thing is, like I said, if you got that $200 now, the next month, let's go ahead and put that $200 in again. I tell people to treat your brokerage account like a savings account. All right. Because the reason why is because you can leave your money in the bank, but you're going to get like 0.1%. Okay. You can't do nothing with that.
Nothing.
All right. So I would rather you, even if you was going to put it in a low risk Dow stock, something like Visa or Disney or something like that, you're still going to get a better rate of return on your money than you would just leaving it in the bank. Now, keep what you need as far as like for emergencies and things of that nature. If you got your 1,000, your 2,000, whatever the case is that you need access to, just in case, your tire blow out or what have you, and you need the instant access. But everything else, I believe, needs to be going into your brokerage account. And the reason why that is because when a stock becomes available at the price that you want to buy it from, you ain't got to spend time trying to transfer money to your account. It's already there. Bam, now you can go ahead and pull the trigger.
So now I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna break this down. We're gonna really chop this down in the toddler size for the layperson. Man.
I understand.
Brokerage account.
Gotcha.
What's the difference between a brokerage account? I mean, we know the checking account, savings account. And if we don't know what that is, y'all, we're gonna have a whole nother episode for y'all. But we hope everybody should be there. But brokerage account and like a Roth, we're not talking about the same thing. So what's a brokerage account? So if I put my money in a brokerage account, I mean, I just put it there and somebody invests it for me, or do I still need to go out and buy stocks? Help me out, Coach.
Absolutely. So a brokerage account is the account where you can actually purchase and invest in stocks, and you can actually you can buy your stocks, invest in your Roth and things of that nature. But the brokerage account is like the building. You gotta think of it like a bank. You go to a bank, and then inside the bank, you can do a savings account, you can do a checking account, you can do a CD. The brokerage account is the tool, the facility, if you will. And then once I set up my brokerage account, then I can buy individual stocks. I can purchase my Roth or what have you. But the main difference is with when you talk about the Roth and individual stocks, it's a major difference because a Roth or a 401k, a 401k, of course, is through your job, but your IRA or your Roth IRA is an individual retirement account. When you're dealing with an individual stock investing account, the major difference is that you can take your money out whenever you want to, opposed to with the IRA, you can't touch that until you're 59 and a half, or you're gonna get penalized. So it's a major difference, and there's more of a tax benefit to managing your own money as well.
So with this brokerage account, some people love risk. Some people are thrill seeker. What's the risk with this brokerage? That just depends on the stock that you invest in, that you choose to invest in.
Yeah, so there's no risk with the brokerage account, just like there's no risk in quote unquote putting your money in the bank, because it's all insured, FDIC insured or whatever, because it's just like a bank. So you're sitting your money in there until it's time to buy stock. So it's once you put the money into the brokerage account, it's just like it's sitting in a bank. But once you're ready to purchase stocks, then your money is actually invested. So I tell people to make sure that your money is sitting in the brokerage account so that when it's time to buy stocks, you can pull the trigger immediately. So if something drops down to your price now, as far as from a risk standpoint, that just comes into play when buying certain companies, because you got some people that like to buy some people like to stay super low risk, or they'll do just like Dow stocks, which is like the top 30 companies in the US, or they do S&P, or some people like to do penny stocks, which is a little bit more riskier. But the main thing is you just have to do your research, because you never want to go into investing and doing something and you don't have the knowledge to do so.
Okay, so let's break up some more of things that I think a lot of people get confused with. So we got brokerage account, but then there's a Roth, and then some people say do a mutual fund, then some say growth stock mutual fund, and there's Vanguard and FT, and you get hit with so many of these different things. It's almost like with so many different religions. You got Protestants, they all like money is the main person in the middle of it. But how do you know the difference between them? Like how do we separate these things?
Okay, let's break it down again. So, all right. So when it comes to a brokerage account, you have different types. So a brokerage account would be an example of like Robinhood is a brokerage account, TD Ameritrade is a brokerage account, E-Trade is a brokerage account, Scotch Trade, Fidelity. Those are all brokerage accounts where you can actually invest your money. Now, from there, then when it comes to investing, you have a 401k, you have a IRA, and then you have an individual stock investing account. So the main difference is with your 401k, that's generally through your job. All right. And they come in different forms and stuff like that. But generally the most common one is a 401k, where generally you put in money, they either match it or what have you. And then you have an account manager or mutual fund manager that's managing your money. And you generally just choose whether you want to do high risk, low risk, or medium risk, what have you. So that's that. Generally, you're probably going to get on the high end 10%, maybe a little bit more, but if you do 10% in the mutual fund, you doing fantastic. All right, you winning. All right. So now you have a IRA. A IRA is technically the same thing as a 401k because um, it's an investment account. And when I say it's an investment account, basically the two main factors that um, classify this as an investment account is that you can't touch it until you're 59 and a half. All right. You're gonna get that 10% penalty if you take it out early. And then but the major difference is with the traditional 401k account, you're pre-taxed. So that means that when you take your money out of your 401k account when you retire, you're gonna get taxed on the back end. So whatever tax bracket that you're in, that's what you're gonna get taxed at when you take that money out. With your IRA, it's the same thing unless you have a Roth. So a Roth is when they tax you right now. So this is after tax dollars. That means that when you take it out, you're only taxed on the capital gains. But then I heard that if you keep it for like 5 years, that you won't be taxed. So you got to kind of do a little bit of research on that. But what I specialize in is the individual stock account. And the reason I love the individual stock account is because unlike the gains of a 401k or traditionally a 401k of that 10%, when you're choosing individual stocks, there's first off, there's no cap because let me go back because with the 401k, the most that you could put in that is like 19,000, I think 19,500 for 2021.
Mhm.
And then for IRA, the most that you can put in is 6,000. So the government caps you on what you can put in. Now, when you're dealing with an individual, you can put as much money as you want to, and then you can take it out when you want to. Now,
Mhm.
here's the deal: as long as you keep it for a year, you're only going to be taxed at 15%. 15%, opposed to normal tax bracket, which can go anywhere from like 22% to 37%. And then, like I said, if you take it out early, that's 10%. So now
You're really getting, yeah.
yeah, you're really getting hit. So opposed to doing an individual stock account where you're only getting taxed at 15%, and then you can mitigate that because when you become an investor, if you set it up right, you can become a business, and then you have different tax breaks that can mitigate that tax liability, and you can shave off the points on paying those taxes as well.
Somebody, I want to stop. Somebody like, they gonna blow my credit. A lot of people say things, oh, I gotta go buy this because I gotta build my credit, but then they fall into this trap of in an attempt to build credit, they get themselves so deep in credit that they never get back into that credit race. What is a safe, effective way for a young person to build credit?
All right. So it's a couple of different ways. If your parents have good credit and they have a card that is being underutilized under 30%. So when I say under 30%, like so say if the card is has a $1,000 credit limit and long as only 300 is being reported, then it's being underutilized, and that's where you need to stay. You can actually add your kid or a young person to that credit card and allow them to what they call piggyback off of your credit so they can establish it. So now it makes it easier for them to gain credit and then establish their own credit. So that's one way. Another way that they can do it is by doing a secure, go to a bank or a credit union and getting a secure credit card. So you have unsecured and secure. So unsecured means that you're using, the bank's money. Secured means that you're using your money as collateral. So say if I go to the bank and I say I want to do a secure credit card, I can put up $500 in the account. They'll give me the card, and then I'll use it just like a regular credit card, and it will report. If by any chance that I default, now I have the $500 collateral to pay it back. All right. Now, once you show good responsibility and good standings with that card within 12 months, generally they will transfer from an unsecure, give you your $500 back, and take it from a secure to an unsecure. So those are two easy ways that young people or people who just don't have credit to establish credit very, very quickly.
Boom. We're gonna do this rapid fire.
Go ahead.
I'm a rapid fire for my viewers out here. I'm gonna give you three individuals.
All right.
Young man, pocket full of money, got a little job. He
Mhm.
wants to be rich one day. He says he wants to invest, doesn't know how. What would be snapshot advice you would give this young man to help build his financial future, his generational wealth, and what he or she should be doing?
Okay. First thing I'm gonna tell you, first off, let's get that budget. Let's get that budget straight. Let's get that budget straight first and foremost,
Facts.
because we got to have a plan first. Got to have a plan, and then another thing though that we forgot to mention: make sure your credit is right. Credit is important. Credit is more important than just buying cars and houses. You can use credit for leverage to build wealth. All right. So make sure your credit is right, so you can leverage that. And then ultimately, like I said, set up that brokerage account. Even if, like I said, even if you're doing a Robinhood or whatever, and start researching and putting money in the stock market. Wealth isn't a complicated thing. I don't want people to think that just because you don't go to the NBA, or you're not a rapper or what have you, that you can't build wealth. It is not difficult. It's just being disciplined and being patient.
Okay, so we got the first person. Now let's
Okay.
go to the second person. Middle-aged man or male or female, about 30, 35, 37. They finally realized that rap career ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Or that singing career. You ain't going to the league, bruh. That ship don't sail. And all that time you gonna spend money wasting, you didn't spend it saving or investing or into the brokerage funds. And
Mm-hmm.
now you realize, I need to do something to prepare myself. What does he or she need to do?
Okay. So generally, if you're at that stage, you have kids, you probably have a little bit of debt,
Oh
more
yeah.
than likely, more than likely. So this is what I tell people to do. Simultaneously, you need to be paying off debt and investing at the same time. Most people would say, "Hey, no, pay off the debt, pay off the debt, pay off the debt," and that's cool. But to me, it's more motivating when you see something growing and you see something decreasing, because now that growth is going to give you motivation. Like, man, I need to hurry up and pay this stuff off because I want to put more money into my growth. So at simultaneously take care of that debt, but back to the stock market. Open your brokerage account, get into that stock market, because at the end of the day, even though that you're going through this situation, you got kids. So you want to at least be able to set them up, because, like I said, don't be selfish and be like, I got mine, my kids gonna have to figure it out. No, we want to make sure that they don't have to go through this. You need to learn that lesson. Like I said, I didn't learn all this stuff until it didn't really click until like my early 30s, when I started figuring out. But man, I tell my students, like, man, if I would have known this stuff when I graduated from high school, college, man, it'd be a totally different situation. But because I understand the value of it, it's my passion and it's my responsibility to share this information with people, so we can progress as a people, economically.
Man. All right, last person.
All right.
Old head, old granddaddy. You know what I'm saying? He about 50, 60. He don't live a
Hmm.
good life, man. Listen, he can't pass the peas like he used to do. But him or
Yeah.
her, they realize I've had a great life, but I did not save like I'm supposed to. I got some
Hmm.
money put away because eventually common sense hopefully does kick in eventually, but you just haven't done it like you're supposed to. Later in life, can I still win? What do I do then?
All right. So later in life, the first thing I want you to do is make sure that you have your affairs in order. And when I say affairs in order, make sure you have life insurance. Of course, make sure you have life insurance, because life insurance, and I would say that to all three, but definitely the older generation, because life insurance is the greatest wealth transfer that is tax free. Like, a lot of people benefit greatly from that. So make sure you have that in place. Now, with the older generation, one thing that I would, and this is a total different strategy per se, because you really don't have a lot of time for your investment to mature, if you will.
Mm.
But there is a product called a IUL, which is basically a life insurance product that you can utilize and still put your money in it, but use the money at the same time, and it never leaves. Now, this is like it's almost a topic for another podcast, but it's basically you creating your own bank. There's a book called The Retirement Miracle that's written on it. Basically, by putting your money into this, then you keep your money being lost, if you will, but at the same time you get to use it, if that makes sense. And what that does, and then the beautiful thing is that of course you can make your younger heirs the beneficiary of that. So at the same time, you still get to utilize your money, but at any God forbidden time that you have to pass, then they can still utilize that as well. So it's just things that you got to operate a little bit differently if you're kind of late to the ball game and you're 50s, 60s or what have you. Now, like I said, it's not to say that you still can't invest in the stock market, because you can, but I'm just about making sure that you still get to enjoy yourself, because at that age, you don't want to have to go back to Walmart and be a greeter and things of that nature. So you want to just have things in place.
You want to be able to enjoy yourself. Coach, man, listen,
Absolutely.
you have literally dropped dimes. And that transition, I like to call the final timeout. And teammates, for the final timeout, listen, your money is your power, but you have the strength and ability to gain more power. The stock market, brokerage accounts. That's the word of the day. Brokerage account. Man,
Correct.
learning how to build credit, learning what you can do to put yourself in a better situation. And the B word, budget, putting things on paper on purpose, is the way we're going to transition to 2021. You can do better for yourself, but you have to start by looking at yourself and your situation, looking at the bad spending habits. And sometimes you got to call the baby ugly. And if you're not doing it right, you got to be willing to do it right. And if you need help, guess what? My guy right here is here for you. Coach Norris is ready. Hey, connect with Jay. Coach, where can these people find, one more time, just in case they was too busy writing down all these notes, where can my audience follow you, man? Where can we get you at?
Man, so you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Jamaury Norris. That's Jamaury. Last name Norris, like Chuck Norris. You can go to my website, JamauryNorris.com. That's where you'll see all the resources, the book, the coaching, some free credit tips. And then, of course, if you want to work with me potentially, you can go to Work with Jay Now, Work with JAY Now.com, and we can make some things happen for the new year.
This has truly been one of my favorite episodes because I love having money. I always tell people, when you say things, sometimes you got to say something to offend people, because if I offend you, it will leave and result in action. People, emergencies happen to broke people, financial emergencies. If you ain't broke, it becomes a financial inconvenience. So in 2021, let's stop having financial emergencies and let's start having some inconveniences. And that's going to happen when we get our money right. And that's another episode of the Huddle in the Books, y'all. Peace.